Well, folks, old Chuck Schumer finally caved to the Republicans, and it only took about 2 days for him to do that. Now, after declaring that he would not support a GOP-sponsored clean continuing resolution, Schumer told Democrats at a luncheon on Thursday that he has enough votes to get the GOP bill over the 60-vote threshold to invoke cloture, and Democrats are not having it, with AOC going on CNN to air her frustrations and talking with reporters about a potential primary to Senator Chuck Schumer in the state of New York. But before we get into it, drop down below, hit that subscribe button, and don't ever miss another video from us again in the future. Now, we know the government is currently funded until today, Friday, March 14th. And if a continuing resolution was not passed, the government would go into a shutdown tonight. On Tuesday, the House of Representatives passed a continuing resolution on an almost party line vote with only one Republican voting against it. And that was, of course, who else could it be except for the lone Kentucky Republican, Thomas Massie? And let's just see, Trump wasn't too happy about this. He had a number of things to say about it. Let's see if we can find... I bet you we can't find it. I should have been more prepared for this. But basically, MAGA's trying to throw him under the bus. It's, obviously I agree on principle with a lot what Thomas Massie has to say, but just not voting for it. It's like, you are there to govern. You're not here to just be an obstructionist. You actually have to govern and get things done. I get it, but still, and Democrats in the House and the Senate have vowed a strong opposition to this spending bill, and leading the charge against it is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, who said she is planning to mobilize her base of followers to oppose Chuck Schumer's decision to accept the House GOP funding bill. AOC said that there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal. AOC went on to slam Democrats in the Senate for the decision to, quote, completely roll over and give up on protecting the Constitution. And this is some of the most, it's like think about this. This is some of the most low IQ nonsense we have ever heard from the Democrat Party. It is just insane. Listen to this right here.
The CR is bad, but a shutdown. The point that Senator Schumer has kind of made is, the CR is bad, but a shutdown is worse. So how do you respond to that point?
That is, I cannot I cannot underscore enough how incorrect that is. Because what this does, what voting for this CR does, is that it codifies the chaos and the reckless cuts that Elon Musk has been pursuing. The robbing of our federal government in order to finance tax cuts for billionaires is what is happening, and that is what Senate Democrats will be empowering.
And here's the thing. Nobody's that stupid. Nobody thinks that Trump's tax cuts are just tax cuts for the billionaires. We all know that. And Democrats must think their people are pretty damn stupid who voted for them, because the army of liberal activists on social media have started a campaign claiming that Republicans control the Senate, the House, and the White House. And if the government shutdowns, it's 100% on the GOP, which we know is totally false. In the Senate, you need 60 votes to invoke cloture. It's just as simple as that, or to end debate on a piece of legislation. So either the Democrats need to stop filibustering, or they need to vote to invoke cloture. It's as simple as that. Then the bill will move forward, which many Democrats privately are not happy that Schumer will help the bill move forward, with some encouraging AOC to primary Chuck Schumer. They want her to primary Chuck Schumer when he's up for re-election either in I don't think in 26, I think in 28 is when he's up for re-election. All because of this government shutdown thing. And it would be disastrous for Democrats if they allowed the government to shut down, because then they give Trump all the power. He'd be able to deem who's an essential worker and who's not an essential worker. And then he'd be in a much better position to negotiate with the Democrats to get what he wants, because he wants to make the government smaller. That's what he would get with a government shutdown. He would be in a better position to negotiate. And Schumer knows this. And after Trump and the GOP called his bluff that he was going to let the government shut down, he reversed course and said that they will have the votes to get it passed, which is very, very smart on Chuck Schumer's part. I'm not here to give praise to the Democrats very often, but kudos to Chuck Schumer for actually having a brain for once in his life. For once in his life. He's been in the Senate for almost 3 decades, and it shows in this moment right here. Because for Democrats, this is a lose-lose situation. If they allow the bill to pass, they will face the wrath of Democrats who demand they do anything and everything in their power to thwart the Trump administration. But then if they allow a shutdown to happen, they will take the blame for damaging for a damaging federal shutdown. Plus, like I said, it would allow Trump and Musk to keep reducing the size of different agencies in the federal government and give them all the negotiating power. But still, Democrats are beginning to turn against leadership in the Senate, mulling bids to primary Democrats in leadership roles, especially Schumer, who is taking most of the fire right now, which, to be honest, it kind of surprises me. I've said many, many times on this channel that the 25 to 30% of the Democrat base that is extremely left-wing keeps a very, very tight grip on the leash they have around the necks of the 70% of the Democrat Party who are not as liberal, who are not as left as they are. And usually the moderates just bow down to the radical left. But here you have at least Chuck Schumer choosing a different route. Now, most Democrats are on AOC's side, even the moderates. But Schumer knows what he's got to do here to make sure that this doesn't fall at Democrats' foot. And it just continues on the Democrats. Yesterday, the House Democrats were in a retreat in Virginia. And according to CNN, Democrats were very, very mad that even centrist Democrats were ready to write checks for AOC's Senate campaign, adding that they have, quote, never seen people so mad before, referring to Democrats with Chuck Schumer. This just continues the Democrats' inability to grasp with Trump's victory in 2024 and how they are going to counter it. They think countering Trump is making TikToks about choosing your fighter and holding protests to make sure waste, fraud, and abuse is not rooted out of the institutions like USAID. It is a pretty pathetic response if you ask me. But here's the thing. The Americans who voted for President Trump in larger numbers than they ever have before clearly signaled that they want Trump to enact his vision for America. And that is what he is doing, and Democrats should stop resisting because it's only going to hurt them in the long run. Obviously, the bill is not perfect. It is not perfect by any means, but it is a bill that will continue to fund the government, keep it open, allow DOJ to continue their work to reduce the size of the federal government. But it also includes, in this bill, is a pay raise, the highest pay raise in 40 years for the lowest rank of enlisted troops in the military. The bill safeguards entitlement programs. It increases funding for air traffic controllers. It increases $500 million in funding to the WIC program, which provides benefits for women who are pregnant or have children under the age of 5 to make sure they get proper nutrition and can access food. By no means am I saying that this is a perfect bill. By no means. But the alternative for both the GOP and the Democrats are not any better. Not any better by any stretch of the imagination here. And that's going to wrap things up for today, folks. Drop down below, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you never miss another video from us again in the future.